Hi, welcome back to Making It with Minglet. Today we're going to be doing page 52 out of our 100-day challenge. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the stencil I used in this volume earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and get a 52 on there. Actually, maybe I'll do something else. No, I'll wait on that because I may want to do it in a color other than the cream color that I already have out. Now, looking at this page, it has a couple of things going on. Let me hold it up. And remember, these are Franken pages. You can sew them, you can use glue to glue them together, and then when you're sitting and watching TV or doing something else, you can come along and you can put stitches on them to add to the texture. So this is just note paper, a little 5x7 piece of paper. I have some gel print brayer offs underneath here. I have washi tape on here, so it's got quite a bit of things happening. This has some watercoloring in it, and looking at these, I come up with one of these. Here's what I think I'm going to put on it. This is a quote from Mother Teresa. It says, "Do small things with great joy." And to me, that looks very nice and creative there. I think I will cut this apart, but I did not want to do it until I was up here working. Now, across here, I am thinking that I might like to have something to add texture back here. And I think I may want to have it to where, let me figure out the placement here. I think we're going to be looking at getting it below this line right here. Let me see if I've got a really springy green, which may be a little over the top, but here's my thinking. And I am not going to put it on the palette because the palette has just a parchment color on it. I'm just going to put a dot right over here because I'm not going to need much of it. And I'm going to go ahead and use that dry brush technique to I think what I'm hoping to do is to create some leaves, some kind of random leaves. And I am going to work sideways for right now. I think that might be my best bet. Okay, let's see. Where's my mark? There's my mark right there. So here we go. What I'm going to do is go for the leaves. Not so much the tulips, but the leaves. And I know that's kind of odd to be doing it not as a whole, but since I have flowers that are going on it, I thought this might be a good way to bring in that green. And that did not do a whole lot. I think I need more of it. So I'm going to reposition and try adding a few more. And I may need to come in with some darker green too to really make it pop. And it's not easy. This acrylic is not going to absorb into this paper or this washi tape. It will not absorb into it, but hopefully it'll stay there and play nicely. Okay, let's turn it up and see what we have here. how that looks. Instead of using that mark, I think I need to bring it up a little bit more. I'm going to use the other side of this where there are these swirls and just kind of plume looking parts. They've got kind of a wispy look to them, and wispy I think is always pretty. It just goes to show that sometimes what you do with a stencil is not, you may not use it the way that it's intended. You may find other creative ways to use it and enjoy it. It gives you, this particular stencil has a lot of variation, so it really gives you a lot to work with. Now I'm going to let that one carry over to the page beside it. Let's put some of these little swirly things here. And I'm using a crappy brush. I'm not using a good brush because when you're swirling it around like that, kind of dry, it's hard on the bristles. So don't use a good brush. If you try it like that, do not use a good brush. Use your I should throw you away brushes. And that's why I don't throw them away, because sometimes you find that it's just what you need for the job you're doing. When I was growing up, you've heard me say my mom had a ceramic shop, and we used to laugh at her because she had this 000 brush, and it had one hair left in it. And I said, Mom, I'm cleaning out brushes today. Can I throw this one away? No, oh no, don't throw that away. I use it for so-and-so. So I learned that, even though things may look like they're worn out, old and worn out, sometimes you just hadn't found the right use for them. And that can be very true. We never bought cheap brushes. We usually bought very good brushes, and so you wanted to get every penny out of them. I mean, I look at brushes now and I'm like overwhelmed by pricing, but I kind of remember in my head sometimes how much it was when we were buying them. I would go and pick up at the wholesale company, and so when I got home, I'd say, okay, this is what this cost us. This is what we can sell it for. And my mom would just shake her head, especially if things had gone up. It's like, do you get ahead? Can you get ahead? All right, now I want to go ahead and cut this apart right here, because when I first started doing this, I didn't think about if I joined all those little tabs together. I had a vision, but my vision wasn't complete. So that being said, I just wanted to kind of get that out of the picture for right now, and then I'll come back and put that piece in. Now we've added some texture in that spot that really didn't have a lot. We've given it a little bit of a grassy look. I could come back in if I wanted to and kind of doodle in those green leaves with a marker, or a fine line pen, or a brush tipped, like a calligraphy pen. That would probably be cool, but it's not necessary because there's a lot going on this page already. So as it stands right now, I don't plan to doodle on it, but I'll look at it after we get this piece on, and then we'll make a decision as to whether I should doodle or not doodle. Until then, I'm not going to do doodly squat about it. Do you doodle? going to use my little cloth here to kind of make sure that's going to lay down well and get everything attached as it should be. And it's always good to check your work, especially when you just, even if it's a junk journal, I'd like for it to stay together. Alright, and then we're going to put the grate Let me put just a tad more glue under right here. Didn't quite go out as far as I thought it would. This glue has been a little bit looser than the glue I'd been working with, and I have to remember, if I put it right at the edge, then it oozes out, but if I put it just slightly from the edge, I end up with better results. So there you have it. Do small things with great joy, and that's a Mother Teresa quote. So the only thing left to do now is to get our page number on, and I don't think the white is really going to do it for us, so we're going to be switching to a different color. And I think, let me see how close my orange is to my hand, because you know I can always use orange. Okay, it's going to go right there, and I'm going to go back to the stencil that we've used before. Okay, let's see if the pink will show up good enough. And I'm just putting a dab of that on my newspaper. And once I finish doing this, I can just brush that out and let it dry, because this page is almost full. It really is coming along looking very nice. Alright, let's center you up, baby. Alright, there we go. Alright, there's the 5. And the 2 is pretty. I like the style of on this. Darcy did a good job. Alright, so there we have it. Page 52 complete out of 100. And I hope you will join me as we go along on this adventure. It's if you can't do a page every day, don't feel the least bit guilty, but I have enjoyed challenging myself to try to create something every day. And I don't always feel like coming up here and doing something, but like yesterday, I was trying to take care of myself. I had a bad day the previous day. And when I say a bad day, it was a really, really bad day. But thank God, you know, I got it under control, so things turned out a little bit better than they had been. And I'm not going to complain about that. That is the life I live, and it's okay. But what I did was I sat and I looked up quotes, and I took a watercolor pad or sketch pad that I had down there, and I just started, you know, making these little pieces up to where when I come upstairs, all I had to do was decide, you know, what was going to go with it. And this was one of those, and I really liked it, and it kind of spoke to me, you know, where I was at that day. So I hope that you get some kind of inspiration, even if you can't do every day, you know, just put thought, let your creativity work. Let it be part of things that you do regardless of how you feel. You know, you can find poems, you can find quotes, you can work towards small goals. It's like take baby steps. That's the way you do it when you deal with unpredictable things. That's how you get through the process. So I'm going to leave you with this, and just keep this in your mind as something that you can find joy in doing. You know, taking those small steps, just making the effort. So until next time, be well, my friends. Bye bye.